Our last student athlete of the night, before we get into our alum, is Matthew Cindric. Matthew is a senior center on the football team and is majoring in business administration. He excels in nearly every area on campus. He has been a model student athlete who continues to succeed in the Haas School of Business and is a team leader in the weight room, locker room, and meeting room. The nominator had this to say about Matthew. He is a force for good. He is both a leader by example and an active voice for his teammates. He is an authentic leader who brings teammates along with him. Matthew is also heavily involved in the Athletes in Action group and spent time during his 2022 spring break in Croatia. Matthew's moral compass provides inspiration. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Matthew Cindric.
Thank you, Sean, for that introduction. First of all, thank you to all the speakers before me. You guys are great, hard acts to follow. Also want to thank Tim in the equipment room for this suit. It was last second. Huge shout out to Tim. But yeah. So I want to start actually in this room. So when I was in the spring of my freshman year, I was selected to be a part of the football team's leadership committee. And for those of you who don't know what a leadership committee is, it's a group of like 10, 15 guys. You meet with the head coach, you talk about the pulse of the team. And so I was super excited to be a part of it. It's something I wanted to be a part of since I got here. So I come in, I plop in, probably somewhere around there. I'm sitting down, and I'm looking around. I'm like, why am I in this room? I started at left bench this year. I got water for guys at practice. I didn't deserve to be in this room of guys setting the standard for everything. You know, they're winning games. They're out there. I'm doing nothing. It's been a long time since that day. It's been almost 3 years, and I've learned a lot, especially on the front of being a leader. I used to see leadership as this, as the guys making the big plays, making the tough decisions, being the vocal advocates of the team. But I see a new side of leadership nowadays. I see a side that's often neglected or could be described as on the margins. So to be on the margins is to be the most neglected or least important part of an idea. So for leadership, what I see to be on the margins is an attention to details, a consistency in details. Where does this come from? So when I was a freshman in my fall camp, we had a guest speaker, Ryan Leaf. And for those of you who don't know Ryan Leaf, he was the second overall pick in the draft, one after Peyton Manning. He was supposed to be this amazing quarterback that was going to bring the Chargers back to wins. None of that really happened. He only played a handful of games. He got into drugs, eventually got into prison. Now he's an ESPN anchor, doing great for himself. And he came in to talk to us about rebuilding his brand and what he had to do. He said that when he threw away a Q-tip, he made sure he went over and picked it up if it didn't go in the trash. He said that was his responsibility to go and put it in, and that really proved his character. Those were the small things that really mattered in bringing him back to where he used to be. So over my 3 years, I've tried to implement this idea of being consistent in the details as Ryan described. And I've learned a couple key things. First is in relationship building and using people's names. Go here. Using people's names is key. When I was a freshman in high school, I remember we had a stud senior. The guy everyone wanted to be like. He was actually recruited by Cal, came here, and everyone loved him. And I remember whenever I would walk into a room that he was in, he would yell, "What's up, Cindric?" Give me a big smile and ask me how I was doing. And that was huge for me. As this little freshman, I was like, this guy knows my name. It showed that he cared about me. It showed that I was valued on the team. It showed a sense of humility by him, that he was not above anybody. And it made him stand out. I mean, raise your hand if you've ever heard someone say, "I am great with names." Yeah, not many. So it really made him stand out from the crowd. And I think this is key to success. I see it in a couple ways. When you use people's names and you build relationships, they're more willing to talk to you. I get freshmen all the time coming up saying, "Hey, can we go watch film? Hey, what do you think about this on the field?" If we didn't have that relationship, they wouldn't be doing that. And that's going to help them succeed in the future. I also see this in places like the cafeteria. I have a great relationship with Rob and the staff up there. When things are going great, I let them know. And when things need improvement, I also let them know. That's going to help nurture our bodies the way they need to be, as Christian talked about earlier. The next way I see consistency of the details mattering is identifying needs in a room. Now, as student athletes, we have a lot of needs. We have a lot of things that we need to be successful. And one of those needs on a college campus is transportation. And a lot of freshmen, they're walking from place to place. After a hard practice, the last thing you want to do is take the sweaty walk back to Clark Kerr. So this past fall camp, I actually noticed one of our freshmen who had just torn his ACL was in crutches. It looked like he was trying to crutch back to Clark Kerr, and I was like, I can't let this happen. So I went over and asked if he needed a ride. He accepted, and one ride turned into 2 rides, turned into rides for the rest of fall camp. And I think this matters in a couple ways. First, it helps with success. That extra time that he got at home, or the time he got coming back to the facility, gave him extra time in the training room, gave him extra time to sleep in the morning. And that's going to help his recovery in the future. I think this also matters because it shows that you're reliable. When you're on the field, football is the ultimate team sport. 11 guys have to work as one. So the other guy across from you has to know that you're reliable, that you're going to do your job. And when you do things like this, they're going to see that reliability come out. The last thing about consistency of the details is who you are in shared spaces. Now, a classic shared space for the football team is the locker room. The locker room really strips you down. It makes you your most authentic self. So how you act, how you talk, and how you listen are very important. How you act is important. When people see your locker, is it clean or is it dirty? When it's clean, it shows that you care for the space that you're in, that you're responsible for the amenities that you're given. When you keep it dirty, you show that you don't really care and that the space is not important to you. It's also about how you talk. The locker room can be a private place. You can say a lot of things in there that you would never say outside of it. So your true character can really be shown to your teammates. So what you say is very important and can really define who you are as a person. Also, it's about how you listen. The locker room, as I said, being an authentic place, people are going to tell you things that you may never have heard before. I mean, I've had teammates from Germany, Japan, California, and on the East Coast. You learn a lot of different perspectives. So listen, be the last guy out of there and take in all that you can get. So now you may be asking, Matthew, where does this motivation to be consistent in the details come from? Well, a lot of my motivation comes from my faith. As a Christian, I look to God for a lot of my motivation and leadership. A verse that really struck me is Romans 12, 6 through 7. It says, we have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is to lead, do it diligently. Now, knowing this verse, I feel like leadership is my gift from God. In this, I try to do as he asked and lead diligently, with great care and attention to the details. Now, looking back at when I was put into this leadership committee 3 years ago, I finally see why I was at it. It wasn't for my talent. It wasn't for how good I was on the field or my vocal leadership, but it was because I led with great care. I led on the margins. Thank you, and go Bears.
Matthew, awesome job. Thank you so much. It's been great getting to know you through this process. You are an amazing person, amazing leader. Thank you so much.